All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Marco Ricchiuti, and I want to begin by thanking everyone for being here today. I believe two of our greatest assets in life are our time and our health. And I appreciate anyone willing to give up a little bit of their time to learn a little bit more about their health. So, just a little bit about me. I am a millennial entrepreneur who leverages social media to help build my global businesses. I got my degree from Manhattanville College in business management and marketing with concentrations in digital media production and sports studies. I'm a platinum executive with the company Asea and a key partner in opening and developing emerging markets in South America and Asia. And so I'm excited to talk with you guys about this incredible technology. So I was introduced to this amazing technology, and I've come to agree with the statement that this is the single greatest health science breakthrough of our lifetime. And I'd like to spend the next 30 minutes with you guys sharing what are redox signaling molecules and why do you need them. We will also watch a quick draw video to help reinforce what we've learned. And then we'll discuss a few scientific research studies that have been done and tell you a little bit more about the company. So to better understand redox, we need to dip our toes into a little bit of the science. We're going to get the presentation up for you guys in just a second. Perfect. All right. So our bodies are made of between 75 and 100 trillion cells. So these cells are essentially little bags of salt water. And think about it, when somebody goes to the hospital, they start on a saline, which is a saltwater solution. And your tears are salty, your sweat is salty, you get the picture. So cells have four main functions. They have to protect, detect, repair, and replace. And this is called apoptosis, which is where a cell is designed to destroy itself if it cannot be properly repaired. Then a healthy cell will replicate it to replace it. So in every cell is a structure called mitochondria, and those are the battery packs of these cells. The mitochondria is where cellular energy, ATP, is produced. And until about 1998, it was actually believed that the byproduct of this cellular energy production was just waste product. And so in 1998, a Nobel Prize was actually awarded for the discovery that this waste product was actually redox signaling molecules. And since that time, many scientific bodies have been trying to recreate and stabilize these molecules. However, it was considered impossible because positive and negative molecules existing together are fleeting. And it's like putting hot and cold water in the same bucket and expecting it to stay that way. So the National Institute of Health, they have given grants to three major universities in redox research, and both Vanderbilt and Harvard actually have their own research centers, redox research centers. So Wake Forest University just added and started a school for redox biology in medicine. The University of Nebraska just opened a new school for redox biology and wellness. So it means that this world at large is starting to agree with this science, and that there's a principle called reductant and oxidants in biology and wellness, and that's fundamental to health. So we can't say the word medicine, but because we're not a drug, but these schools are called redox biology of medicine. So just keep that in mind. So what are they saying? So, what are they saying? Redox phenomenon are becoming the next wave of not only wellness, but in their words, of medicine. So this means probably in 5 years, people will be getting degrees in redox biology, which is pretty huge. What we've known for about 10 years is finally reaching the world. And to get a better visual understanding of this technology and how it works in the cells of our bodies, we're going to watch a quick draw video that's going to explain a little bit more.
The human body is an extraordinary creation, made up of between 50 and 100 trillion cells, each one performing just the right function in just the right place at just the right time. Your cells themselves are amazing. Each one is a bustling metropolis of activity, a city that never sleeps. Every second of every day, your cells work tirelessly to keep your body healthy and strong. One of the major functions of your cells is the production of fuel. This fuel, known as ATP, is actually created by workers inside the cell called mitochondria. Mitochondria are so vital and important that a single cell can have thousands of these little workers. In fact, it is estimated that half of the dry weight of the human body is made up of mitochondria. Mitochondria do more than supply the body with the fuel it needs. They also play a key role in cell signaling and communication, coordinating the actions and activities of your cells. When you think about it, this kind of signaling is essential for health and life, since it is the foundation for things like cell development, tissue repair, and immune functions. Without the ability to communicate and coordinate the activities of cells, we would fall apart pretty quickly. The mitochondria's role in this vital communication system lies in the fact that they make special molecules, called Redox Signaling Molecules. The mitochondria make these molecules by the trillions, every second of every day. Good thing, too, because without these redox signaling molecules, life itself would be impossible. You need these molecules to protect the health of your cells, to detect threats and damage, and to repair or replace injured cells. Unfortunately, as we get older, our ability to make redox signaling molecules diminishes. Ever notice that bumps and bruises that disappear in no time on a child seem to last forever on someone who is elderly? The cells in that older person simply aren't communicating as efficiently as they did when they were younger, and so cells and tissues take longer to repair themselves. And all because the body isn't making as many redox signaling molecules as it used to. But what if there were a way to replenish your supply of these amazing little molecules? What if there were, in essence, a redox signaling supplement? How would your life change if you had a supply of redox signaling molecules like you did when you were younger? Such a product would be incredible, but how would you go about making it? Well, a good start would be to understand how the mitochondria in your trillions of cells make these vitally important molecules. Your cells are little bags of salt water. The mitochondria and other organelles inside the cell float around in this salt water. It's not surprising, then, that when the mitochondria need building blocks for creating redox signaling molecules, they use something they have plenty of: salt water. It works out pretty great because salt water is made up of just 4 atoms: the sodium and chloride atoms in salt and the hydrogen and oxygen atoms in water. The mitochondria pull apart these saltwater molecules, then recombine the atoms in different configurations. The new combinations are, guess what? Redox signaling molecules. Things happen so fast inside the cells that these redox signaling molecules are manufactured in just fractions of seconds. And they get used quickly too. And if the cells don't need the redox signaling molecules right away, the atoms convert back into salt water, ready to be used again and again by the mitochondria. It's a very efficient system. So to make a redox signaling supplement outside of living cells, it makes sense to start with the same building blocks: salt and water. That's just what a company called Asea does. We begin with a pure, pristine saline solution. Then, using a highly protected and patented electrochemical process, we break apart the bonds that hold the sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms together. These free-floating atoms are then recombined in new configurations, and voila! Redox signaling molecules. Of course, the process sounds a lot easier than it really is. Your mitochondria make redox signaling molecules in fractions of seconds. Asea takes 3 full days to make the same molecules. But the real triumph for Asea came in overcoming the issue of stability. Remember that redox signaling molecules made in the cell get used right away or else turn back into salt water? That's because redox signaling molecules are very reactive. They want to get busy and start working right now. This reactive nature makes it difficult to keep these molecules around for long. They want to get used or they'll revert back into salt water. Fortunately, after countless hours of research and experimentation, the scientists at Asea reached a breakthrough. They discovered a process for pairing these highly reactive molecules into balanced sets, stabilizing redox signaling molecules outside of living cells. This really is something extraordinary. Molecules that last just microseconds inside the cell have a shelf life of over a year in a bottle of Asea. Amazing! So what does Asea, the world's first redox signaling supplement, mean for you? Simply put, it's an entirely new approach to health. Every other health and wellness product, vitamins, exotic juices, everything, tries to help the body by giving it something foreign, something the body has to try to figure out how to use. Not so with Asea. The molecules in Asea are native to the body. See, your body already knows how to take care of itself. Your cells actually make the tools they need, and for the first time in history, you can replenish and reinforce those tools. You can, in fact, give your body more of the native molecules it needs to take care of its own health. Asea is more than a mere supplement. It is a foundational approach to health and wellness, a fundamental shift in how we take care of ourselves. So are you wondering just what Asea can do for you? There's one powerful way to find out. Talk to the person who shared this message with you. Get your hands on a case of Asea and feel for yourself the effects of the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. Your life and your approach to your own health will never be the same.
Awesome. All right. So why do we need this supplement if we have these molecules and we produce them in every cell of our bodies? Well, we lose the ability to produce these efficiently as we age. And so starting at puberty, we actually begin to decline at a rate of 10% per decade of our life in the ability to produce redox. So many factors contribute to this decline. Obviously, with aging, we have fewer and lesser efficient mitochondria. We're exposed to toxicity, pollution, disease, etc. Think of a little child who can run around and play all day, fall down, go boom, and then the next day, they're not hurting and they're not sore. So their bodies heal and repair very effectively. So here's an analogy often used to describe this, right? Think of your body as a house. There's a fire in the house somewhere. You need to call the fire department. If you pick up your cell to call, but you have no signal, your message to the fire department will not get through. And so when they don't get the message, there's a fire and they're unable to come and assist. The same thing happens in your body. Your cells need to be able to signal to the repair crew in order for them to get the message and show up, right? So if you think about it, all health issues in the body are rooted in damaged cells. And Asea is your easy button. It doesn't matter whether it's an issue or where it is. If it involves cells that need to communicate in order to protect, detect, repair, replace, Asea is that easy button. So Asea is made from salt and water in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they used a 3-step process. And these molecules are native to the body, which means they're exact same thing that is in the Asea bottle. And it's the same thing that's in every cell of your body. So it's impossible to be allergic to the product. There's no level of toxicity. No negative interaction with meds or other supplements. And Asea actually has no LD50. And LD50 is the dosage at which product becomes lethal for 50% of the test subjects, usually mice. And when researchers were tried to find the LD50, they said they would have actually had to drown our mice in Asea to cause them harm. And the company did not allow this. So why would an extreme measure have been, while it would have been necessary to reach an LD50, the company did not do that. So researchers said that the more Asea they gave to the mice, the healthier they actually became. So what happens when you drink Asea, when you drink Redox? Does it cure everything? No, it's neither accurate nor acceptable to say that Asea cures or prevents any condition in the body. It truly is your body and your cells that do the healing. And Asea just gives these cells the ability to communicate more efficiently so that they can perform their functions more effectively. So to protect, detect, repair, and replace. So you don't want to you do want to have reasonable expectations when taking Asea. And for many of us, it took a long time to get our bodies in the shape we are in. And so it's going to take a little time for your tissues to heal and repair themselves. So on average, 30% will see improvement in some areas in 30 days, 60 days, 60% in 60 days, and then 90% in 90 days. And understanding the science just a little will help those with more significant health challenges understand the need to stick with it over a longer period of time. So with every case of Asea comes this tracker form. It's really important to fill this out. You can customize it to fit your needs. When you're getting started with Redox molecules, you don't get to tell them where to go. So your body has this inherent wisdom and will utilize them where it sees fit. So by taking inventory first, before you get started, you'll be more in tune with the subtle changes that occur as your cells begin to communicate more efficiently. All right. So I'm going to actually turn the time over now to LoriAnn Garner, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. She's going to tell us a little bit about the science and the studies of the company as well. So, LoriAnn.
Hey, thanks, Marco. That was great. I appreciate you so much. Good job. Like Marco said, this is such a great technology that's been introduced to us. And just to tell you a little bit about me, my background is in radiology and mammography. That's where my education is. I have owned and operated a supplement store. I am a nutrition assistant with Utah State University. And that's just a little bit about what I have done. I'm a mom of 5 kids and 15 grandkids. And to me, our health is so important. So I'm excited to share a little bit about the studies that have been done, that Asea, the company, has spent millions of dollars on these studies, and I get to share some of the findings with you. So I'm excited to do that. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so one of the first things let's talk about is the Tarot Lab. They did a gene study, and Asea actually redesigned the label on their bottle to print the results of this study on the back of it. And what this talks about is the gene study was done over 8 weeks, and participants were on an average age of 35 and fairly healthy. So this is even older than Marco, but they were healthy like Marco. They were healthy people. And they, in these participants, 100% of the participants' improvements were measured in 5 different genetic pathways of the body. Improved immune system health, healthy inflammatory response maintenance, support of cardiovascular health and arterial elasticity, improved gut health and digestive enzyme production, and modulated hormone balance to support vitality and wellness. Improvement in expression of these genetic pathways increased and was between 20 to 31% in all of the participants. That's so cool. Dr. David Neiman of the University of North Carolina Human Performance Laboratory performed a metabolomics study with Asea. Dr. Neiman is the Vice President of American College of Sports Medicine and the author of 9 books on physiology and exercise testing. He has over 200 peer-reviewed articles and over 300 articles in health and wellness magazines. All of his studies are double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled. Dr. Neiman's study showed that within 30 minutes of ingesting Asea, the body starts to mobilize fat from your abdomen. That then goes out into your bloodstream as medium-chain free fatty acids. These free fatty acids can be used as a fuel source. So when you're on Asea, you begin to burn fat as a fuel source first. Also, this fat burns and produces ATP. That's known as cellular energy, about 6 to 8 times more efficiently than muscle glycogen or stored glucose. Also, when you're burning fat, you don't produce lactic acid, which builds up in your muscles and makes you sore the next day. This is important not only for athletes, but also for us, average people. Professional athletes and weekend warriors have noticed Asea reduces their recovery time. So if you don't use your cellular energy for normal activities of daily living, your cells have more cellular energy to perform those 4 things Marco was talking about: protect, detect, repair, and replace. Another study that was done by Dr. Neiman is they put mice on little mice treadmills and they measured how far they could run till exhaustion. Then they split into 2 groups. They put half on Asea and half on the placebo. The placebo used was salt and water in the same concentration as Asea. So keep in mind, many naysayers on the internet will say Asea is just salt and water. However, we have taken the salt and water through some very advanced electrobiochemistry, rearranged the molecules, and they are no longer salt and water. They're redox molecules. So this is much like when you take a cake and you bake it. You take eggs, flour, sugar, you mix them together, and when baked, a molecular change occurs. You have cake, not eggs, flour, not sugar. It's the same with redox. Okay, so back to the findings. Mice on Asea ran 29% further on average than the control group and further than before Asea. There was a 33% increase in the sparing of muscle glycogen because they were burning fat as a fuel source. Who doesn't want to burn fat as a fuel source first? Sign me up. I guess I am. Now let's talk about the cholesterol study by Dr. Neiman. He took 106 overweight women ages 20 to 73 and gave them Asea for 12 weeks. These findings were significant reduction in oxidized LDL, which is your bad cholesterol, and Asea increased the body's own antioxidant glutathione efficiency by 500 to 800%. Dr. Neiman said, quote, "We found that drinking 4 ounces of Asea a day for 12 weeks reduces LDL levels in the blood, a highly significant finding. And if you can keep your oxidized LDL low, your chances of heart disease go down." So what are others saying about Asea? Forbes in 2019, a super supplement to repair damaged cells. Huffington Post 2016, 5 emerging technologies in science that will shape our lives in coming years. Redox Congress was held in Paris in June 2019, and over 20 doctors presented their studies on redox. Dr. Brian Clement, head of Hippocrates Institute, did his own year-long double-blind study, and he said, "We would strongly advise using this important contribution in human health." Dr. James Watson, co-discoverer of the double helix structure of DNA, a well-respected scientist, said, "Type 2 diabetes, cancer, and brain disorders are a lack of redox signaling molecules. At PubMed.gov, if you type in redox, over 314,000 articles come up. And if you type in redox signaling, there are over 33,000 articles. If you type in redox signaling plus the condition you're wondering about, you can access an archive of articles. So check it out at PubMed.gov. There are currently over 1,200 textbooks written and 5 Nobel Prizes awarded in redox science. This good news is getting out. Asea decided to make a topical application out of their molecules. They added a clay and a pH balancer to the original product and made a gel called Renew 28. First developed as a skincare product, and now we know it as a whole body skin therapy. Dermatest is a renowned third-party lab and has done extensive testing on Renew 28, giving it a 5-star rating for safety and effectiveness. Renew 28 is part of a redox-friendly skincare system, which is deserving of an entire presentation in and of itself. So now let me introduce you to our Aseava Line. It is a complete cellular wellness supplement. I love these supplements. With redox molecules, we have the labor and the nutritional line. And we have the materials to support complete nutrition. So what does that mean? I want you to think about your body as a house. In your house, there are constant renovations happening. And Marco already talked about this with your body being like a house. So you are continually repairing and updating, so to speak. It's a lifelong process. If you had a construction crew show up with all the best equipment and muscle in the world, but the trailer full of materials didn't show up, or only a fraction of your material showed up, you would get very little done. In your body, redox is the labor force, the crew that does the work to repair and remodel your house. The nutrients you take in and absorb are the materials and the building blocks the crew has to do their work. Even if we have a balanced, healthy diet, it's nearly impossible to get all the nutrients we need from the food that we eat. We simply must supplement our diets. These whole food micronutrients are patented to be bioavailable, and that means that our bodies and our cells can absorb them and utilize them to their full potential. This is key when choosing a supplement for your body. So now I'd like to spend just a few minutes giving a quick story of how we came to be Asea. I think it speaks to the heart of who we are and who we are in business with. It all started with a man named Virtus Norton. Virtus was a successful businessman, retired executive VP of strategy from Kraft Foods, and in retirement, he was asked to help run a biotech company and later asked to sit on the board. He wanted to understand what they were trying to accomplish. The company could produce the redox molecules from salt and water, but it required a special machine, and the molecules were only stable for about 20 minutes. That's not a marketable model. So Virtus began drinking this product. He noticed his thinking cleared up. He had more energy. He was in his 60s at the time. And when it was later discovered that the company was out of money and significantly in debt, they were sold to an energy company who began to sell off assets. Virtus, knowing this was something valuable, and was able to purchase the technology with the help of an investor friend. His plan was stabilize the molecules and sell the technology. It was a business opportunity in the beginning. So they hired Dr. Gary Samuelson, an atomic medical physicist, who was eventually able to stabilize the molecules. The product was presented to a big pharma company who did their due diligence and offered them a check big enough they wouldn't want to talk to anyone else. However, they said they wanted to take it through FDA process, and in order to do so, it could not be in the hands of the public. So this big pharma company said we would have to cease production immediately. Before this meeting, Virtus had started a focus group for the product. They wanted to see if people would even drink it. For some people, it can taste like pool water. So they chose 40 people and gave them all the product they could need. 6 of these people were significantly challenged in their health. And after 2 months, they checked on their focus group and found 40 had shared with 135 people in 20 different countries. They had their answer. People would take the product. The terms of the deal would have taken this product away from these people who were benefiting from the redox, whose bodies were improving in their ability to communicate at a cellular level. Virtus, who had started this journey as a business venture, chose to turn down the money. He chose the people. He realized this was about more than money. It was about helping people. So then they were faced with the problem of how to get it out into the world on a larger scale. People didn't know what redox was, and placing it on a shelf in a store with ingredients that say salt and water was not a good model. They chose network marketing. This model lends itself to having a conversation, a chance to explain a little of the science to foster understanding. I am so proud to be in business with these people and very proud to share this product. And as Virtus would say, we are all at the start of something big with great purpose. And right now is the moment we begin influencing the future. We can change the world. And I like to add, one cell at a time. I'll be forever grateful to the person who had the courage and persistence to share these molecules with me. So this ends our presentation, and we invite you to get back to the person who invited you here today. And for those of you that want to learn more about the Asea business opportunity that we do with more testimonials, we invite you to join us on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And if you have any questions or would like more information, your next step is to get with the person who invited you here today. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.